Listening to podcasts is no replacement for real training. While we attempt to provide accurate commentary, we hold no responsibility on how you use the information we provide. Get medical training. In the blink of an eye, everyday order can be replaced with once-in-a-lifetime chaos. Be prepared. This is the Civilian Medical Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 9. And you guys can't see this because you're in podcast world, so you don't listen to audio. But Sean and I are wearing the same shirt.
It's so
Mine's a little smaller, but we're wearing the same shirt.
You could literally sew two of yours together and it would equal my shirt, I think.
9 weeks in, and we're thinking alike. That's scary.
We're the same person now, I think.
That's scary.
So one of us, I think either I need to lose weight or you need to gain weight, or maybe we just meet somewhere in the middle.
I think probably somewhere in the middle is where we need to be at.
All right, I agree. We don't want this to be the diabetes podcast, so I need to get it in gear.
We're just going to change it to like crappy civilian medical podcast or something.
Oh man, I love it. So we just got back from the NRA annual meetings, and you wanted to talk about some stuff that kind of went down and just stuff that came up.
Yeah, like I'm still trying to catch up from sleep. It was great. We had a good time hanging out, seeing a lot of the listeners come up and said, "Man, I love the podcast." We got a lot of positive feedback from the podcast on the floor. So I had a good time at the Firearms Network party. Got to meet a lot of you guys that are listening to us and supporting and sharing it. So it was awesome. We had a great time.
Yeah, that was great. And actually, Medical Gear Outfitters and you, who own Medical Gear Outfitters, you gave away 3 med kits. What all did you give away?
So we gave away our Skinnymedic small kit that was in our Skinnymedic pouch. So that's a made in the USA pouch, and it had some basic first aid supplies in there. And then we gave a pocket kit away, which is basically a stop the bleed kit. And then we gave away a Skinnymedic Essentials Kit, which is a full trauma kit. We gave all 3 of those away, and we've gotten tagged at least one thing I can think of right now on Instagram. So if you got the other ones, please tag Skinnymedic on Instagram. I like seeing you guys who actually won them. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it really was cool. And so for one of the contests, do you know what the floss is?
Yes. Gage knows how to do the floss. I can't do it. My hips don't move like that.
Mine don't either. So I actually had a floss contest, like whoever could do the best floss. And I had people like standing on tables and doing the battle. And then by round of applause, we chose the winner. And the dude who won it was like so excited. He was so stoked. And it was just awesome to see, because I think medical gear is becoming a definite thing that's in people's mind.
Definitely. It's starting to see that swing. We've been doing the channel for a while now, and it just kind of slowly starting to see that guys who carry guns or into guns starting to see like, maybe I do need to carry a med kit. And even saw that it was brought up at the panel on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. So I sat on the Gun Collective panel for the 4th year, and it is always an awesome time. But at this one, we had 2 separate people come up and ask medical questions. The first one was extremely difficult, especially in a room full of people, and trying not to say anything that, was too terrible. But they came up and said, with the stuff that's going on with rats, is it a viable thing to carry as a backup? So that was the question.
I'm glad I was able to stir that pot for you.
Yeah. I was like, oh God. So I was sitting with Mr. Guns and Gear. So I started talking, and I was like, look, there's questions about efficacy, but as long as you understand the pros and cons of something and you're able to use it within those parameters, I think it's reasonable. However, there's also a couple other things like ethics and morals. And some of those things have come up that would throw questions at that. Over my shoulder, I hear Mr. Guns and Gear like trying to get me to shut up. But at that point, I was already bought in. So, and that's exactly it. Like if I have a rat and I know exactly what its challenges are, I know what it's effective for, and I carry it, that's cool. Will I ever buy another one? I don't know. Probably not. Like, there's other options out there, and I am pretty annoyed by some of the behavior of the company that makes them. So that's how I answered. It may not have been popular, but that's my answer to that question. And since it was asked, I had to give my real opinion.
Absolutely. I would agree 100%. I think the rats absolutely can make an effective tourniquet if you use it properly. Getting a good strong pull on it, laying the the band side by side, not getting any spaces in there to get that nice wide tourniquet, I think it would work. Is it the best tourniquet on the market? No. But if you have one, don't burn it. Don't throw it away. Just know its limitations.
Yeah. And once you do that, it's good. And then someone else came up and asked about that. And Warrior Poet Society and I both got to wax poetic about, no pun intended, for a little while, just about medical gear. And I took off my ankle kit and held it up. And, we just talked about like what's good and, what we like to carry and how important it actually is. And I brought up the thing that we always say, where most of us are probably never going to be in a shooting in our lifetime. We're never going to have to draw our firearm and use it for for self-defense. But most of us already have seen, a bad accident or someone bleeding or someone falling and hurting themselves or just, we've all seen medical emergencies for the most part. And I had people raise their hands in the audience of people who had seen someone get hurt, and just about every hand in the audience went up. So I thought that was really good. And then after I got off the stage, I had people asking me questions about medical gear that, what stuff do I recommend? And it was a medical day. And I think that's huge.
Awesome. Yeah. Warrior Poet and I were I think we were at the Henry booth, and we just started comparing like what gear we had on us. So it was kind of funny. We were doing like a pocket dump of like what gear we had on us. So to see people start carrying more medical, I think is important. I mean, there's different ways to carry it. Like we've talked about, whether you carry it in your backpack, on your belt, on your ankle, making sure that you at least have it nearby, close by. So I like having the smaller kits throughout everywhere. You can find the big kits that cost $500, but you're not going to carry that $500 medical kit at NRA show for 8 hours walking around.
Yeah.
I don't even want to carry my gun walking around for 8 hours, much less than that. I'm so tired. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to get home.
I know.
But I can carry a tourniquet. I can carry a pressure bandage. I can carry gauze. All that's not very heavy. I can carry that walking around, for 8-10 hours a day. No big deal.
Yeah, I agree. And then lastly at NRA, so We Like Shooting had an appearance at Faxon booth, and all of our friends showed up. So Skinnymedic and family were there. John Patton from the Gun Collective, Johnny from 182nd Idea. There was like all kinds of like YouTubers there just hanging out with us. And of course, it turned into shenanigans, and we started applying tourniquets to people for whatever reason. So Jeremy from We Like Shooting, he's a 6'7" giant of a man, and we were putting tourniquets on him, or Skinnymedic was putting tourniquets on him, and it kind of got kind of fun there for a little while.
It was like there was so many cameras popping out, like recording. So I'm sure there's some good videos. And my side of the story is that I made Jeremy cry, but his side says he winced. So I don't really know which one's the truth, but at least I'm gonna tell everybody I made Jeremy cry.
Yeah, he screamed like a little girl. No offense to little girls, but yeah, he definitely made a couple noises that I'd never heard him make before.
When that Cat 7 locked on his leg, and I probably pointed extra turn that I really needed to. So, but it definitely worked. Jeremy winced or cried, however you want to define it, and almost couldn't stand up. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
But it was like Derek said, there's cameras popping out everywhere, and we're applying cats and other tourniquets and things like that. So it was good. It was fun.
It definitely was. Now, May is National Stop the Bleed Month. What is that?
Yeah, so last year they did Stop the Bleed Day, and there was a lot of free classes going about. But this month this year they decided to make it a month-long project. So if you go to bleedingcontrol.org, there's a place there where you can find classes. You can put in your state, your city, your zip code, and you can find classes near you. And there are a lot of people offering free classes this month. So it's about an hour and a half time. I know North American Rescue right here local to me, they're putting out like 4 free classes at their facility. So there's a lot of stuff going on that you can find good quality training, hopefully for free this month, and kind of get some hands-on training. So I would encourage you to go to that website and search. There's classes going in every state. So hopefully there's something close to you in your state.
All right. That is so awesome. So what was the website one more time?
It is bleedingcontrol.org.
All right. Love it. Now, the topic of this show is what supplies should you carry at the range? So why don't you start us off and talk about what you carry at the range?
Yeah, so we get our iPro together, we get our ear protection, we make sure we've got ammo, we've got the gun we want to shoot, and then a lot of people forget about their trauma kit or their med kit they're going to take with them. So I do think it's important to carry your trauma kit to the range with you, get it out of the vehicle and have it next to you on the bench. Have it close by, because when there's an accident, something happens, you don't want to have to sprint back to your vehicle. So I carry things to stop major bleeding. I carry chest seals. I do carry an MPA, and I carry pull decompression needles with me. Now the needles are more advanced than I think what the average person needs, but for me, I am licensed, and I feel like I can make that judgment call to use it, and I would just get on the clock. So there's ways I can beat the system for that. So I do carry a little more advanced supplies, but the basic essentials that we're going to recommend on this podcast is exactly what I carry in my trauma kit that I have. I have 2 tourniquets. I have a pressure bandage. I have combat gauze. I do run compressed gauze as well. I have chest seals. I have an MPA. Like I said, I have the needles. And then in my back of my truck, I carry a NAR litter. So even if I need to pull the litter out and put someone on the litter to get them closer to the roadway, because we shoot a good ways off the road, we can do that as well. That way the ambulance crew or fire crew doesn't have to hike in there to us where we're shooting.
Very nice. Very nice. So I guess what I figured I would talk about, like what I carry every single day, and then I'll tell you what I carry to the range. So I carry this ankle kit that I have. Clearly no one can see it because this is an audio podcast, but I am holding it up for whatever reason. I got this actually from medicalgearoutfitters.com, which is your website. And I believe this is the North American Rescue ankle kit, right?
It is.
Is this the one that you use?
It is. That's the one I use. It is comfortable. It's, there again, there's limitations to everything we're using. I think it's very well padded, which makes it comfortable.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't work for my skinny jeans. So I can't wear skinny jeans with that.
And if you're fat enough, all jeans are skinny jeans.
Yes. So like I make sure I wear like boot cut or even my 511 pants, true spec pants. They will all cover it up. You can wear it above your boots if you're wearing boots. So it's been comfortable. I've wore it for a long time. I wore it for 8-10 hours at a time, and it's been comfortable.
Yeah. So what I actually carry in mine, and here's the reason why, is because obviously it's got to be kind of compact to a point. So I carry the Hyphen Vented Chest Seal Twin Pack, the compact version, and I fold them in half. And so far, it does definitely add some bulk, but I do like the ability to carry some chest seals. I carry the Quick Lock Combat Gauze. I carry Mylar Space Blanket. This one's a MedStorm, but I think Dynarex, they have a really, really tiny one that I'm going to add to this. I just haven't gotten it in yet. And then I actually carry some H&H compressed gauze. I carry a 28 French MPA and lube. I carry a Cat Gen 7 tourniquet, staged exactly how I like mine staged. I carry a recent addition is the SWAT T, and that takes the place of a backup tourniquet, but also compression. And then I also do carry the needle decompression needle, the needle thoracostomy.
No, and what they can't see because they're listening is that you had that tucked into the wings of the cat. So kind of gives a little storage container there. So you can kind of stage it and it's out of the way. So works out good that way.
And that's what I carry on my ankle every day. So for my actual med kit that I take to the range with me, I do have a bigger bag, but I find myself not taking it just because I pretty much always forget it. And it's not like I forget med gear. I've always got med gear. I just don't have my big blowout kit. But in this one, it's almost the exact same stuff. And one thing I forgot in my ankle kit was gloves. So in this, I carry some gecko tape, some of the vet tape, a bunch of gloves. I carry multiple compression bandages, both the OL, AES. I don't even know how you say that. Oleus?
It's Oleus, Elias. It's one of those two. So we'll call it what we want to call it. We'll make it up. It's fine.
Yeah. And then I carry the NAR mini response 4-inch. I carry 2 packages of Curlix, another compressed gauze, a space blanket, Halo chest seals, 2 MPAs and lube, a rat tourniquet, 2 Cats Gen 7s, and what else is in here that I'm forgetting? Combat gauze, if I didn't already mention it, 1 roll of that. So I've got 4 total rolls of gauze. I think that's about it in this one. And a needle decompression needle. And that's kind of what I have in my backpack at all times. I take it on flights. And that's actually another thing, is because I spend so much time traveling and flying that I don't carry shears with me anymore just because I've gotten them confiscated by TSA so many times. So what do you recommend for shears that I'm not going to lose every time I go through security?
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of been hit or miss for me whether I lose my trauma shears or not. So in the past, I've carried just the regular EMT shears that are, a few dollars. That way, if you lose them, it's not a huge deal. The Benchmade hooks are small enough where they will more than likely skip through TSA. I mean, they're so freaking, it's all over the place. Well, every day it seems like something different. So, but yeah, if I'm flying, I typically don't carry shears just because I don't want them to get stolen or getting jacked from TSA. So, because I am flying, I do skip out on the shears.
Yeah, and I do carry a Rescue Me, which is it's a pretty cheap and inexpensive windshield breaker seatbelt cutter. I carry them everywhere. I've got one on my keychain. I've got one in the visor in my car. I put them in all my med kits. Just they're handy to have. They have a razor blade in there. If I need to strip some clothes, it'll do that. And again, they're pretty inexpensive, super compact, and I actually have not lost one of those to TSA yet.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, which tourniquets do you always carry in your kits at the range?
So I think having tourniquets, and we're going to kind of talk about stopping bleeding, which is super important because you can talk about, we bleed out pretty quickly. So your average EMS response time, probably in a rural area where you're shooting, is going to take a while. So having the ability to control bleeding is super important. So for me, I like the cat tourniquet. I've used it in the field a number of times, and I feel comfortable using it. So I carry that one. But I also carry the soft T. I like it as well. It's a little more limited to me because I feel like it's a little more difficult to apply one-handed. But it's a fantastic tourniquet. And then also I like having a SWAT T there. I will have a SWAT T with me. It'll be in the truck, and it may not be actually in my trauma kit, but it's always close by. Is because it's a good pressure bandage. I think it's good for smaller kids, things like that. And I keep one in my backpack, my medical backpack, because one of my side jobs is working with law enforcement, and I'm on their canine search team. So if one of their dogs get injured, then I can absolutely use that SWAT T on the dog.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good option. Like I said, even in my ankle kit, I carry the SWAT T because it doubles as a compression bandage. So it allows me to kill two birds with one stone. But yeah, for me, it's cats. I do have a couple rats in different kits throughout, and then SWAT Ts. The soft T, I've got them, but I have the same problem. The newer generation is actually better, but still not as great one-handed as I would love it to be. I mean, it's a solid tourniquet. It's like a really solid tourniquet. I do like them. It's just more difficult for me to get on one-handed.
I do. I agree. And, it's one of those, like, I feel like sometimes, like, when you turn the windlass on that, it's a little bit difficult getting the triangle. The new retention system helps that. But it's like if you turn it one way and it doesn't fall perfectly in the triangle, if you loosen it and turn it the opposite way, it'll fall right in the triangle. So it's kind of a 50-50 shot whether it's going to fall in the triangle. But it's a great tourniquet. So it's just one of those things where pick the tourniquet that you like. Do some research. Don't just take my word for it. Don't take Sean's word for it, but do some research, some quality people. Don't just like go on YouTube and start looking at people, but trust the people you're getting information from, and then pick one. If you like the rats, carry the rats, but train in it and be proficient with it. If you like the soft T, then carry the soft T, but train with it and know that you can use it under pressure.
Yeah. Now gauze, I carry a lot of gauze because I'm like, I can use gauze for a lot of things. The Curlix stuff. I mean, you can make a litter with Curlix. I've done it. They taught me how to do it in one of the classes, and I was like, that's genius, but also super strong. So it's the one that I really like. It's cotton, and you can use it for a ton of stuff. It's got a ton of surface area to help induce clotting, and it's pretty great. But hemostatic gauze, I think your med kit should have that number one at the very top of everything.
Yeah, and it comes down to budget. It depends on what your budget is. If you have a great, huge budget, your wife's letting you have plenty of money, then buy some good stuff. But if you're having to squirrel away because your wife is building a house or whatever, then I get it that, you may have to buy some cheaper stuff. Just slide it behind her. She'll never know it. Don't tell her I said that, though. She'll get mad at me.
Yes.
But it ultimately comes down to your budget. If you have a great budget, then carry multiple tourniquets like you do and like I do. If you only have the budget for one, then get one. But if you have the budget for a hemostatic agent, go for it. If you don't, Curlix, compressed gauze, all that absolutely works. So hemostatics, I do typically carry combat gauze. I have not had the opportunity to use Celox in the field. Celox is another great hemostatic agent, but I have not had a chance to use it in the field. I've used combat gauze twice now. One was fairly recent, just a few weeks ago, and the guy is still alive, doing great as far as I'm aware of. So, the hemostatic agents are going to help control blood stop bleeding faster. So you don't have to hold pressure as long, and the patient's not losing blood as much as he would with regular compressed gauze.
Yeah. And then rolled gauze. I mean, there's all kinds of different stuff there. Acrylics comes in rolls as well, but some of the little stretchy gauze, me personally, not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, you can get you would be amazed how much gauze. I mean, obviously you would be amazed, but like how much gauze is in these compressed gauze. I mean, when you open those up, it expands like crazy amount. You're like, I can't believe they compressed that much gauze down in that little small packaging. And then you look at like a big roll of Curlex, and it's the same amount. They just compress it down that much. So the compressed gauze takes up less room in your kit. You still have a lot of gauze there. The Curlex is another great choice. It's probably a cheaper choice that you can buy. You can go to CVS and buy Curlex, or Medical Gear Outfitters, or Amazon, wherever. You can buy the cheaper. You can even buy like the rolls of stretch gauze, like 2, 3-inch, or 4-inch, or even 6-inch rolled gauze for about $5. Any given place, whether it be my store, Amazon, wherever, those rolls are about $5 for a box. So then you can put 2 rolls of this kit, 2 rolls in that kit, and you're spreading out your medical gear.
Yeah. And then clearly no tampons.
Unless you're a girl.
Unless you're a girl and it's just a backup. And we've talked about that like ad nauseum, why we don't kind of want it, but surface area, that's pretty much it.
So it was last week, I think. I'm doing a standby with another paramedic. We're all in our Gucci gear. We're looking all cool in our tactical gear. Like, we're so excited. And this lady comes up and says, I have a really embarrassing question. I was like, okay, I'll answer it. She goes, do you have a tampon on you? And like, I thought she was messing with me. And my buddy was like, no, man, we don't have tampons. She was like, oh no, I need some feminine products. And I was like, okay, hold on. So I went and like had to find another female there to kind of help her out. But I thought she was messing with me because I had my trauma kit on. I was my plate carrier. I'm looking like I got Velcro on me. And I'm like, she's messing with me, asking if I got a tampon on. But no, she actually needed it.
You're looking around trying to figure out who's punking you right now.
Exactly. And like, my buddy Kevin is laughing his head off that, because he knows how much it gives me a migraine when people are talking about having their tampons in their trauma kit. So he's laughing his head off. He's like, dude, I think she's being serious. I think she really does need a tampon.
Oh my God. That's awesome. I love it. So yeah, no tampons unless you require those for whatever physiological thing. So pressure bandages, tons of them out there.
God, yeah, the market is just full of pressure bandages. And I like it. Each and every one of them has their benefits, and I think each and every one of them has their disadvantages. For me, I think the Israeli type bandage is probably the most popular one on the market. It has the pressure plate on it, so hopefully you start that first wind across, get your foundation, you go back through the pressure plate, and then come back on top of itself. That helps create the pressure. Also has a plastic clip on the end of it, so when you get done, you just clip it in, and it's good to go. And then the Elias or Elias bandage, I like it because it has a little eye cup on it, and it unwinds. It has Velcro at the end and a clip, so it kind of gives you a double feature there to kind of help make sure it stays secure. And then the H&H bandages, I really have starting to like those more and more, just because of their packaging. They're so slim. They're thin profiled. You could throw those in a backpack or a laptop bag or whatever, inside your trauma kit, and they don't take up a lot of real estate, and they're good to go. They're a little funky when you go to try to put them on because they want you to go through the side of the H, come back, wrap it around, and go through the other side of the H and come back down. But if you forget all that, all you got to do is wrap it around, put the bleeding where the pad is, and wrap it around like an ace bandage. And even if your budget doesn't allow, go to pick up an ace bandage. Some 5x9s and ace bandage will absolutely make a pressure bandage. So there's plenty of options on the market, plenty of choices. I like the Elias because it comes with extra compressed gauze in there. When you open it up, there's more compressed gauze. There's a piece of plastic, make a chest seal out of it. but it's bulky. Even the 4-inch flat's okay, but that's 6-inch. It's really bulky. So if you're trying to carry that in your kit, it's going to take up a lot of real estate.
Yeah, it really is. And that eye cup, you can also use that as a pressure cup, just kind of twist it, and then go over that and put pressure down directly on that wound. I do like that one because you can carry that and actually forego some extra gauze just because it comes with quite a bit in there. So yeah, but this is where you're going to use a lot of space generally. And that's why in my ankle kit, I just carry the SWAT T because, it'll pull double duty for me.
Yep, and you could look at the NAR Mini is another choice, or even the NAR 4-inch flat. Doesn't take up a lot of real estate. Those are kind of small, but we could literally do, I feel like, an hour-long podcast on just the uses of that pressure bandage. Whether you're doing a fracture or you're doing a dislocation, someone falls and they have possible broken ribs, you can secure all that. You can secure someone cuts their head, gets a laceration to the head. So there's a ton of uses for that pressure bandage. So I think that's important to carry. And when we're doing other shows, I talk about people have get home bags or bug out bags or whatever. I'm like, you should definitely have a pressure bandage in those bags because your bag probably weighs 75 pounds. You're not going to get home from anywhere. But having that bandage in there is something that's lightweight, has a ton of uses for it.
Yeah, 100% agree. NPA, I carry NPAs and everything. And for me, like when I teach classes and stuff, I'm like, carry an NPA. If you need it for that airway, it's going to be huge. And they're generally safe, easy to put in, non-invasive, intrusive, or damaging. But in the notes, it says possibly. So what do you mean by that?
So, I think some people get a little bit scared when you start talking about NPAs. It's funny. Like I talk to people that they're like, "Oh yeah, I put a tourniquet on," but the moment we start putting something up someone's nose, they're like, "I don't really feel comfortable doing that." So, I absolutely don't see an issue with it. There's takes a little bit of training, get some hands-on training, but I don't foresee a huge issue with it. But you could very easily, like we talked about in the other previous shows, you could log roll someone, put them in a recovery position. If you're going to hold their head to like a chin, head tilt chin lift or jaw thrust, you can hold their airway open. But I do think an MPA, and they're fairly cheap. I mean, you're talking about $5 and you can get an MPA, and a number 28 will fit probably everybody who is listening to this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I carry and everything. That's the only thing that I carry, except for my big kit has the entire gamut. But
yeah, my big kit, I have a full set of OPAs, and I have a few different sizes of the MPAs. So I have a larger, but for my trauma kit, that I carry with me is a 28 because I can get a 28 in anybody's nose. Just about any adult person typically is going to take that 28 size, so it works. It's just some people I've found they kind of freak out when you start sticking somebody's nose.
It's true. It's uncomfortable. I can understand why they have an aversion to it, but yeah, get some training and carry an MPA. They can definitely be very useful. Now, chest seals, especially for like compact stuff, this is where you have to think creatively, like because the Halo chest seals are this big, huge package, and it's kind of But when you're talking about going to the range and possible gunshot wounds and things like that, it's extremely important.
Yeah, I agree. I think chest seals are something that gets overlooked a lot of times, even in like these stop the bleed classes. They just there's one slide on chest seals and they skip right over it. And I'm like, they're kind of important, I feel like, because this is a large surface area we're dealing with. I mean, granted, you could absolutely reholster, do something stupid, take a 9mm to the leg, or your buddy shoots you in the arms like that. But your chest, your abdomen, your back are very large surface areas. So percentage of you getting shot in one of those is important. And unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do for that except seal the box, seal it up. But if you don't have anything to seal it up, you're going to run into the potential of a sucking chest wound, a tension pneumothorax, a hemothorax, which is very life-threatening injuries that could be slowed down with the use of a chest seal.
And I know I've mentioned this before, but when you look at the wounding epidemiology or just where people are injured in mass shootings like the Harvest Festival and Aurora and things like that, because we don't wear body armor, we have a different wounding epidemiology than military and first responders that wear plate carriers and things like that. A lot of them are hit in, the neck and those junctions and those appendages. And so clearly tourniquets are a huge thing there. But when you look at Aurora or Harvest Festival, people are hit in the head and the chest a lot.
Mm-hmm.
and they die from those wounds. So while there's not a ton we can do about it, let's make sure that the one thing we can do, we have with us at all times. And for us as civilians, it's one of the most important things that we can carry.
Exactly. You can definitely slow down some of that injury pattern by sealing it up. You're not helping that sucking chest wound, things like that. So you can slow down the amount of damage that's occurring till this person gets to a trauma surgeon.
Yeah, 100%. And so there's a bunch of different chest seals on the market. Like, are there ones that are better than others?
Yeah, so like you talked about the halos. I like the halos. They're super sticky. Their vented halos are pretty unique how they do it, but their packaging is so doggone big. So you can fold them. Absolutely no problem folding the halo chest seals. But they're a great choice. The hyphens are a little bit smaller, and I think they're a good choice. They're super sticky. They're gonna rip the chest hair right off anybody who needs it. Man or woman, they'll take care of it. So I think those, like the Fox chest seals. I'm trying to think some other ones. Like I think H&H has one as well. Those are all good choices. Get a commercial grade chest seal is what I would recommend there. You can go with just a plastic bag. You can go to even like petroleum gauze. Petroleum gauze is what's on every single ambulance in America, just about. For a chest seal, it's just a piece of aluminum paper that we tape on the chest. Using some good tough tape to tape it on there. But there's different choices depending on your budget.
Yeah, 100% agree. And vented, non-vented, what do you prefer?
So right now, I do like the vented chest seals. If you run non-vented, there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that you're going to get a good surface area for it to stick and seal. But if you put it on and then you're like, oh, my patient's starting to get worse, getting a little short of breath, just understand that you need to pull that back and let the system vent. Let it deflate. And get some of the pressure out of the chest area. So, nothing wrong with running non-vented chest seals. You can probably pick those up, cheaper. Gun shows or surplus, things like that, or even buy them brand new. They're probably a little bit cheaper. But I personally have been running vented for a while now.
Yeah, I actually have too. And honestly, for beginners, I think it's good because it takes care of one of those things. You may have to vent yourself manually, but generally I think you'll be okay just with the vent that's built in. And to be clear, it's not an actual like mechanical vent. It's just a void in the adhesive.
Correct.
For the people who aren't 100% sure.
Yeah, like it's generally there's a super sticky area of the pad that sticks and seals, and then there's some sort of channel route or whether that's not sticky, depending on which device you're talking about. So that's going to allow air or blood to come down that channel to escape. So it just kind of depends on which chest they're using. But that's typically the way most of them function.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Mylar blankets. We talked about this in the heat loss portion of the March algorithm, but Mylar blankets are, they're another big deal. You lose that blood, you lose that heat.
Exactly. I mean, so far we've been mentioning carrying multiple tourniquets, hemostatic agent, compressed gauze, all this stuff. We're probably up to $150 now, and the $5 Mylar blanket is what's going to stop this guy from dying.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
I mean, you can buy a couple of dollar ones, $5. You can go in big money and spend like $10 and get like the super big deal one.
Yeah, I don't know. So I actually carry some of these, and I actually took it out, and I'm wearing it right now because it's kind of cold in here.
And you're never gonna get it back in that packaging.
Oh no, I'm gonna leave it in here because it's cold in the studio right now, and the heat that this thing is holding in right now, like I can feel my back getting hot. This is the Rothco Blanket Casualty Lightweight. It's orange and silver reversible, 51 inches by 82 inches, and it's under $5. I actually carry these if I have room because they're a little bit bigger than others, so I carry them in my IFAC. I carry the big ones in my range bag, and then I use the Dynarex, the tiny little ones, for my ankle kit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these Rothco ones, I actually really like these quite a bit. I gotta say, I've warmed up.
Nice. I need to look at those. I need to pick some of those up and take a look at them.
Yeah, you can use my my Rothco account to order them if you don't have one.
You could come to South Carolina. It's like 80 degrees outside right now.
It's cold as crap here. That's why I'm actually wearing a space blanket right now.
I saw you guys. Ava said you guys got snow. Like,
Yeah, we've gotten snow and it's cold today too. I brought a jacket with me, even though it was kind of sunny when I left, but I can see it kind of getting colder out there by the minute.
yeah, it's gonna be like 80 and sun shining here. So if you want to fly down the GSP, you're more than welcome to.
All right, good. I'm in. Now we talked about trauma shears a little bit already. Anything else to cover there?
Yeah, I mean, just I if you have room in your kit, I would add a pair of trauma shears, the $5 trauma shears, EMT shears that are that's on every ambulance. That's what majority of EMTs and paramedics, first responders are carrying. They're reasonable, and you don't have to use a pocket knife to start cutting someone pants off or shirt to kind of expose them. So I don't recommend using your pocket knife because you don't want to stab your buddy while you're trying to put something else on him. So you can go there again. EMT shears are $5. The X shears are another step up. They're like $35. You got the Raptor shears, which is another a good choice there. They're made by Leatherman. The Benchmade hooks are a good choice. They're kind of low profile, they're lightweight, don't take up a lot of space. So there's a lot of choices there. Just depends on your budget. But at the very least, probably like the $5 EMT shears, it would work for most of our listeners.
Yeah, I agree. And if you lose them or break them, it doesn't matter. Someone was in my last class challenged that you could cut a penny in half with the medical shears, and I just had cheap ones with me, and I was like, "Oh, you can," and did it. So they work. They will cut through what you need them to cut through.
Exactly, and they've got the rounded edge, so you don't have to worry about if you're running up someone's pants leg or running up a shirt or a coat or whatever you're trying to take them off. Then you don't have to worry about stabbing them. So that rounded edge really helps.
Yeah. So I think the general consensus here is just learn the March protocol. Learn the March algorithm, which stands for massive bleeding, airway, respiration, circulation, and heat loss and head injury. And make sure that you have the things that you need as a civilian to take care of those things, the things you have the training to do. So for massive hemorrhage, we need tourniquets and wound packing materials, which means tourniquets, hemostatic gauze or regular gauze, and compression. Those are the three things we really need to care about there. Then airway. What do we do for that airway adjunct? Well, if you trained for an OPA, do that. If not, an MPA. And if you're not comfortable with that, we talked about it in airway. You can do all those things, but NPA is the thing we can carry. Respiration, what do we do there? We're talking about making sure that we're actually using the lungs, and that's what the chest seals can take care of us for us as civilians. And then circulation, that's just understanding the different kinds of shock that we talked about in circulation and being able to, troubleshoot and understand when people go into different phases. But there's nothing that we're going to carry in our medical kit because that's all massive bleeding, and we take care of that first. And then heat loss, these nice little blankets like I'm wearing, I'm actually starting to get a little bit sweaty right now, but they work great. They're cheap and you can carry them in there. And then anything else that you add on top of that is a bonus, but make sure that you can handle those things that kill us the fastest when we take a traumatic injury.
Exactly. And we can always think about improvised medicine, improvising stuff, but plan A absolutely should be good quality medical supplies.
Yeah, 100% agree. Now, I wanted to take just a quick minute and talk about the smallest stuff that you're aware of that we can put in ankle kits. So let's think of the most compact, tiny things to meet all of those requirements. So clearly for a tourniquet, I think that the Cat Gen 7 is just the standard that I have in every single kit, and it's not tiny by any means. So figure out a way to fit it. But SWAT T, reasonably small, and it can fit in the ankle kits that we have. Any other tiny ones that you might recommend putting in there?
The NAR mini bandage is probably super small. You could look at like the H&H. They're pretty small as well. I think the Dynarex compacts their survival blanket super small. It opens up enough to carry, to do the job it needs to. I think probably as far as I'm aware, the Hyphen compacts, the white packaging is the smallest chest seals I know of. So trying to get those super small, like I said, I think you're on point on what kind of small minimalist items you could carry.
Yeah. So, and then the Dynarex tiny little Mylar blanket is really small and compact as well. And then, yeah, the H&H compressed bandages, this NAR mini responder 4-inch emergency trauma dressing. I'm holding it in my hand. No one can see it, but it is pretty small, and it's probably one of the most compact compression out there. Or you could just carry a SWAT T and kind of do a little bit of both. But yeah, tiny stuff there. It's out there, and you actually have all of it available at Medical Gear Outfitters, right?
We do. We have it all in stock, and we've been trying this year to get things shipped out faster. And typically if we can get it shipped out within one business day right now. So super excited about that.
Awesome. So go back, listen to all of our March episodes. It's the first few episodes of the show. What do we have coming up in future episodes?
So in future episodes, I want to talk about some different kits we can look at. What some kits that we can carry in our car, what some kits that you carry at home, things like that. So just some smaller kits that we can kind of give you some ideas on for building those out. And then next week's episode, pretty excited about it. We're going to talk about fractures.
Yes, this is something that I need a lot more education on. So I'm going to be learning along with everyone else. And I looked through the show notes already and it looks awesome. So I can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, this is some gross stuff. So it's weird. I love fractures. I'm like, oh, that looks really jacked up. That must hurt, dude. Let's give you some pain medicine for that. So I like fractures. I like it. So we'll talk about it, kind of give you guys some advice, and if something happens near you, you can able to help someone.
All right, I love it. Let's talk about product of the week. And this one, you just gave away one of those at the Firearms Radio Network listener meetup, right?
Yeah, so I thought this kind of went with what we were talking about, is the Skinnymedic Essentials Kit. It's a complete trauma kit. It has everything that you need to complete that March algorithm, and it has everything we just talked about. It has the tourniquet chest seals, has a pressure bandage, has compressed gauze, has an MPA, has a survival blanket in there. It has a Benchmade hook. And the one thing that I liked about this kit was when I was designing it is nothing really expires in there. I mean, yes, the hyphen chest seals have an expiration date. Eventually, they won't be as sticky as they should be, but technically nothing in this kit is going to expire. So you can buy it. It's less than $100. You can put it in your range bag and it's good to go.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks good. The price is right too, man. The price is good. And I actually held this in my hands in Indianapolis, and it was super, super tiny.
Yeah, this is something that doesn't take a lot of real estate. And like I said, I wanted something under $100. I mean, you can find lots of trauma kits over $100 range, but we wanted something that was under $100 that provided you good gear too. This isn't just cheap crap we threw together. Like, you're getting a cat tourniquet, you're getting NAR products. The Benchmade hook comes with a lifetime warranty, so you're getting good quality items in there.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I didn't realize that all this stuff was in there. I didn't have a chance to spend a lot of time looking at it before we gave it away. But yeah, this is kind of perfect. And the price under $100, boom. It's kind of a no-brainer. All right, very cool. That's available at medicalgearoutfitters.com. Just search for Essentials Kit and it'll pop right up, or you can just Google Skinnymedic Essentials Kit and it'll pop up as well. Now, there was a company that you said that the whole company was listening to the show. I wanted to give them a shout out.
Yeah, I was on the phone with VanQuest. We carry their fat packs, cover a number of their other products. I have a great working relationship with them, and apparently their whole company's listening to us on their travel from work. So they have traffic out in LA, and it's terrible traffic. So they listen to our podcast. So now the whole place is listening to us. So I thought it'd be cool. Like you said, can you say hello to VanQuest? So we appreciate it. They have some great gear.
Hi, VanQuest. All right, very cool. I think that'll wrap it up for this episode. And as a reminder, medicalgearoutfitters.com, you can use code Civilian Medical to save 10% off. And that's an awesome deal just right there. So I actually buy all my medical gear. And yes, I buy my medical gear from Medical Gear Outfitters because it's so important with all the counterfeit stuff that's out there today to excuse me, have a company that you trust and have a company that knows what they're talking about. And clearly Skinnymedic knows what he's talking about. He's been doing it for a long time. Tons and tons and tons of videos on YouTube. So for me, it's kind of a no-brainer. Plus the prices are great. Plus, we can even save money with the coupon code. So it's, just one great thing on top of another personally.
Awesome. Thank you for the support. I try to give you stuff. You want to take it. So
no, I order it without telling you.
You too.
We talked about that on the show. I want that. And then I go order it. But
you order it and it gets shipped out before I even realize what happened. I'm like Lindsay's over the shop packing orders. It gets shipped out before I even realize what happened.
Well, literally pretty much every time we record, I end up ordering stuff. And then by that afternoon, I get a shipping notification. I'm like, yes.
Nice.
It's like Amazon of medical gear.
Exactly. That's what we're going for. We're trying it.
All right. That's so awesome. So check out all the other podcasts. Subscribe to us at civmedical.com. And Dietrich, any final words of wise words or words of encouragement?
I'm all out. I'm out. So
all right. We put it all into this show for you guys. We'll see you next week.
and subscribe at civmedical.com.